Bring it on in, Texas Tech Red Raiders. We're pretty late to this live recording, so thanks for hanging out with us. And if you're just listening
I'm
to
only
this
10 minutes late. It's not
later,
that
I
late.
know. Well, you just like roasted both of us right before we hit go live. Shelby drops this on us like we're 10 minutes late, and I was like instantly just like, oh no, 10 minutes late. But thanks for hanging out, y'all. This is Seeing Scarlet, and we do our thing every week with a live show in addition to our website where we talk all things Texas Tech sports. And we have quite the lineup today, and it's kind of like a not a lot of well, there is fun things happening and then like sad, like bummer things happening. But like this episode feels like it's gonna just hit different. So
Oh,
welcome
dang.
aboard. I'm excited about it. I like a little change up. But I
Okay.
wanted to just let people know how I'm feeling. But what I
Good.
am stoked about is we're gonna talk about tennis, y'all, in the later part of the episode, and we have an interview coming up this week that is exciting, that makes it even more exciting. We're going to talk about some softball, the challenges that we went through with our series against Oklahoma State, but a lot of highlights and a lot of things to talk about with that. And we have some exciting news with the Lady Raiders as usual during this time, because you know what? Coach Gerlich don't miss. Just saying. Yeah, and then we got some golf and all the other bells and whistles that comes with this show. So thank y'all for tuning in. Grab your popcorn. Let's get into it. Do
Yeah.
we want to, yeah, let's start with some softball. Yeah?
Yeah. Always. They're in the heat of their season.
That's
We're
true.
talk about that. Tennis will be a lot of fun to chat about here in a
I
second. We'll do
know.
them next, but they're headed for the postseason, so hang around for them. Getting ready for postseason play. Softball is trying to get to the postseason. We've talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
Wherever you look, they're still on the bubble or in a lot of places. But listen, to be fair, we said last week getting swept by Oklahoma State, which is what happened. They went to Stillwater, number 6 in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's that they've only lost like 3 games all year or something in Stillwater. I think it's just a tough place to play. They're a really good team. And we had some chances in a couple of those games, but we end up dropping 3 of those games. The first 2 by run rule. That first game is a little bit deceiving because it was a
Yeah.
game until it just kind of got away from us late. And Saturday is that was a tough one.
Yeah.
It was just not our
We
best game. It happens. And then Sunday we really brought the fight, and we really had our chances to get that done. But those ultimately we dropped the 3 of them. We can talk a little bit more in depth about each one. We have one video from that series that was cool. But what they have ahead is more important for this team. They're still like
right.
33rd in the RPI. They got 2 series left to go in the regular season. With
Mm-hmm.
Houston on the road, that's a big one for them. They need to take advantage of that and get that done on the road. Hopefully win all 3, but definitely at least win 2 of 3. And then they come back home. I got this wrong last week. It's my bad for trusting a tweet that I saw.
Oh.
Texas is next weekend. Obviously, I thought that the tweet I said it was this weekend. But obviously, you still have another week until the final
Oh.
home series. That is next weekend now. They're in Houston this weekend. So
Sorry.
get your tickets and go support that. It'll be senior weekend, I assume, with all the seniors. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how you could honor them all in one game. I don't know how they're going to do that. So next week will be a very emotional week for us because all those sad videos are going to be coming out on your feeds. Prepare yourself mentally. There's 10 of them. You're going to, I don't know what they're going to do, but last year was traumatic. Traumatic.
I forgot
It
about
was
that.
traumatic. So prepare yourself
Oh
mentally
my
that you're going to
gosh.
see all these tribute videos next week. I'm sure start rolling out for them, but first they got to get through Houston. So
I
that's kind of the
remember. Yeah.
overview of softball and where they're at. They're still right there. What they want to do is right there. They've had some really exciting, fun moments this year, and they almost stole some games up there in Stillwater, but just couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah, a really cool atmosphere for them to play in, and getting to see Paige doing her
Yeah,
thing on the
her and Dwayne
Oklahoma
had a
State
nice
side.
reunion.
That's awesome. So, like, that I think is also a really special thing about this weekend, and getting to see a lot of familiar faces. And yeah, these seniors that have been a part of this journey is, yeah, we're just hoping to see that continue. But yeah, the game on Friday, being down by just 1 in the 3rd inning and staying in there, but that 5th inning is what really took off. losing that game 11-3. And then on Saturday, the 13-0 loss that happened, I mean, pretty quick. They scored 3 runs, then 5 runs in the second inning. And this rest is history. So that
Yeah,
was
Saturday was not.
Saturday.
Well, yeah,
And
not much to
yeah,
say. It
I
happens.
honestly, yeah, and I'm like, I'm not mad about it. I'm never mad
It
about
happens.
any loss
Sports.
ever. Like that's just me. And, like I don't know. It was cool to see them to, compete the way that they did on Sunday. They ultimately lost 6-4. But it was a really interesting game where Oklahoma State was up 6-0. Yeah, up 6-0, and then we came back in the 4th inning and didn't let them score and really tried to rally from behind and ended up losing 6-4.
Yeah,
So that was on Sunday.
I think they were actually up 3-0, and then we scored. Abby Ork got a home run to get us going in the 4th inning
Abby
of that
Ork.
one. It wasn't looking great again.
Yeah.
In that Sunday game, you're like, oh no, oh no. We were just walking a lot of batters, and Oklahoma State was doing a good job all series of taking advantage of what I would call a very small zone from the umpire, but it was both ways, and they were doing a better job taking advantage of it and getting a lot of walks, and we weren't. And when we threw strikes, they were hitting them, and so that's what good teams do. And so we were walking a lot of people, and that's what got us in the end on Sunday. We out hit them on Sunday. They scored more runs than we did because of the walk. So when they got a hit, there was more people on. But yeah, we were down 3-0, and it was starting to look a little like, okay. And then Abby Ork hits a bomb, and that just changed the tide of things a little bit.
Totally.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to have that shutdown inning that's eluded us again, and they scored 3 runs, I believe, in that next inning after that or something like that. They scored more runs, and then we were just kind of there picking up from there. But they almost fought back, and we had opportunities. I mean, Riley Love yammed one. It felt like off the bat it sounded good with a runner on base and that top of the 7th, and it just kind of held up at the wall, a little bit foul as well maybe, but it was a pretty well hit struck ball, and you had the chance. You had the tying run up to the plate a couple times with some of your best hitters, and Oklahoma State got it done. But yeah, Sunday was a good game as far as fighting back. They definitely showed their fight. That shows that they are a postseason team because they hung right there with one of the best on the last day. Kudos to Maddie Wright in that game as well. She didn't start that game, but she's the pitcher that came in after they scored the majority of the runs. She did give one hit up in that inning. She came in with the bases loaded, nobody out, and she gave up a hit, and they got a couple of runs that aren't attributed to her because they weren't her base runners. But I think that might have been the only hit she gave up the rest of the game. I'm not sure, but she didn't allow them to score after that, and then we started our comeback, but she finished the game for us. So she really bounced back because it was a tough outing for her on Saturday in that game. That was just a tough game overall. So I'll give her a shout out. And then back on Friday, you said that whatever happened, but we actually were up 3-0 to start that game. And we got off to a really good start in that game. Ariana Villa had a double in the first inning, and we might have scored 3 in the first inning, two something like that. In the first couple innings, we had 3. And it was looking good for us, right? Mimi Blackledge was on the mound, and then it just it started to get away from us in the 3rd inning. That Oklahoma State kind of fired back, and they scored 4. If that inning doesn't happen, I kind of wonder how the whole series would have went. But it was just a couple of close. Like the wind was really weird that day, and so our left fielder was a little hesitant on one play to add her, and it looked like she was about to dive for it, and then held back and just played off the bounce, and they scored 1 off of that. And then the next a couple batters later or whatever, there was 2 people on base, someone batting. Our left fielder again chases down a foul ball that off the bat sounds like, oh, we're gonna make that catch for the final out of the inning. Yeah. But the wind was so wild that she couldn't get to it. It was blowing it in so far, and she couldn't. It wasn't even like in theory. Yeah, she could have dove for it, but you can't just dive for the heck of it. She couldn't gauge it, and so she was just a little bit short of catching the ball, and like an inch or 2 away from getting out of the inning with a 3-1 lead still. Next pitch, the girl for Oklahoma State hits a 3-run bomb, takes a 4-3 lead.
Tragic.
And then it was just downhill from there. So that's how close it was. Like, I want to give them credit. They really came out fighting in the Friday series. I mean, from the jump, this is random anecdote story, but softball, fun for you. Oklahoma State's very well known for doing a standoff before the game. A standoff in baseball, softball is where you do the national anthem and you just refuse to leave the foul line until the other team does.
Oh my
and so
gosh.
Sometimes people will challenge you on
Sassy.
it. And Oklahoma State does it everywhere, right?
Okay.
And so I thought it was cool that our team like knows that. I'm sure every team does it to them. And supposedly, we put up a good fight according to the announcers. That we did
No
not leave until
way.
the umpires were like, if you don't go in your dugout, you're getting an out. And so we were there until the umpires were about to ding us. So we showed the fight from the jump in that series, and we came out that way, and we had such great at bats against the #1 ERA pitcher in the whole conference.
Totally. It looks
and
so
we
good.
We were looking good, and then that inning, and they got 4 runs, and it just deflated us. So I do want to give them credit. We were in that series. It's just that's how small the margin is when you're playing these kind of teams. And that's how we're trying to get there. And we're going to get there. But they really were in it. Saturday was whatever the heck happened, it happens. A lot of people got to play in that, though. And it kind of carried over to Sunday because about the second or third inning, we basically took all of our starters out of that Saturday game. That's how it was going. And put in people that haven't been getting to play as much.
Yeah.
And one of those was Carson Amijo, who's a senior, who has just not been able to play as much this year because of that's how much talent has been brought in this year as well. Hasn't been able to get her time out there, and she got in, and she had some really good at-bats in that Saturday game. I think she might have gotten a hit. She had a hit stolen from her at the end of the game, just typical the way that Saturday game went. They had a runner on base in the final inning before the run rule, and she hit one so hard, and it hit our runner on first, and so the game ended on an out. Otherwise, it was just typical stuff. That was how Saturday went, but you could tell she carried that confidence into Sunday, where Coach gave her the start, and that was Carson's first start since in the non-con. It's been a while. It's been a while. Go look it up, y'all. As she just hasn't been getting in there, and she did, and so that was cool. And furthermore, she got to she was a part of that comeback on Sunday and had a really huge RBI in that game. So we'll show it here for you guys. Maybe if I can click buttons.
And that one.
This is when it is 6-3 here. This is the workaround.
And that one is a shot past the third baseman, and they're going to try to score it. Here's the throw, and not in time. It's going to be a single and an RBI for Armijo, and she will advance on the throw. So back-to-back hits for Texas Tech, and they've got themselves very much in this ball game.
Our dugout is
hot. That one is a shot past the third baseman.
Yeah, the energy on Sunday was really good too. I said it on Twitter. I won't call them out, but somebody was real happy in the stands for us, and you could hear them on the mic in that game. And I think it brought us some energy early when we were down, and you could hear that the energy was there, and then the energy from the dugout was much better than it felt like it was Saturday. Saturday's just a weird day. It was cold. It was whatever happens, but the energy was better Sunday, and they definitely fought. And that was cool to see Carson get some run because, again, like I said, senior day is coming up, and she's one of those seniors, so she got to have her moment. Cool. Speaking of our buddy here, RG2.
This made me laugh so hard when I saw that.
I watched those.
Okay, but you didn't tell anybody what the hell these videos are in case.
Well, I don't know what they're going to be this year.
That's true, but you got to tell the people what happened last year.
If you weren't watching last year, this is what softball. Let me mentally prepare you people. If you're new to seeing Scarlet, if you're new to following the Texas Tech softball team, there are 10 seniors this year. I think there were 6 or 7 of them last year. I don't remember. There was a lot too, but there was a lot this year. Last year, they brought these people in to the locker room and made them read. They made them read letters from their parents in front of a camera, and they didn't know that that's what they were doing. So it took them by surprise, and they're crying. We're crying. Everybody's crying. And it's just emotional. So I don't know what they're going to do this year. But as he says, all the feels. It was all the feels. It really was.
It really was.
It was, and I'm sure they're going to do something again. I don't know. It will be hard to trick them into that. They'll know what's happening again this time, and they'll come prepared if that's what they do. But I'm sure they'll do something. But they were great. I'm kidding. Well, you could cry and all that, but they were really great. It was a really good job by the social team and whoever put that together, because they deserve it. So, and we really love these seniors. We've talked about it, just like the ones last year that stuck around through a lot, and that's why we want them to make the postseason, and that's why this series with Houston is so important. So they can get, if they have it come off a really good series, feeling like maybe they did enough to get into the postseason, then they go into that Texas series at home. get to do something special against the #1 team in the country for senior day. Like, what's better than that? That's a head.
Classic.
That's a head.
That's a Red Raider classic, baby. We're ready for it. But yeah, that comment made me laugh. And it's the seniors, I'm sure we'll continue to, it's like a weird time of the year where we're at almost graduation and things like that is like the student part of them. And then also hope that our time is getting near to the end of the season and it's another quick season. So
no doubt.
More to say about them for sure.
Landon has this comment. He says, seems like almost every sport at Tech is on the up. Almost like we're having a similar year to 22-23 TCU, but with interesting.
I like that. Yeah, that's the era that I want to be in.
Soccer probably would have been equal to TCU's football. Is probably the way you're going there because TCU made the national championship. Soccer was probably our most successful sport so far. Let tennis work. We're about to talk about them.
Let tennis cook.
So, no, that's a lie. Track won a national championship, so that's definitely our TCU football.
Landon's got a point.
There we go.
Is what we're saying.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Landon has a great point, and we talked about this. A good way to segue. Everyone watch softball, support them, but we'll segue into tennis real fast before we do basketball. But we talked about that with their head coach in an interview that's coming out tomorrow. Great interview. That sometimes people lose sight of that in sports. It's probably not just a Texas Tech thing, but there are a lot of great sports happening on this campus. And this might have been a little bit of a down year for the big 3 sports that people consider them to be, but boy, everywhere else, like these sports are popping off. Indoor tracks winning a national championship. Soccer literally went undefeated and won the Big 12. That team would have made the Final Four if not for an injury, and they still made the Sweet 16. Like, there's so many of these teams. The cheer team won a national championship. Tennis is top 25 and has broken all these records we're about to talk about. Like, there's so many sports on campus, and if you can bring yourself to realize it. I was guilty of it at some point too in college too. Yeah. We're all guilty of being like living and dying by the big sports that people want to talk about and all that.
There's joy over here.
You know how much easier fall sports was as a sports fan because I acknowledged that other sports existed while y'all were all depressed about the football team.
Soccer
I'm over here like, have you seen frickin' soccer? They're undefeated. Like, wake up. So that's how it is right now. If you're in a little lull or there's not much, you feel like there's sports happening, there's a sport happening. That sport is tennis amongst the track. Let's get about to heat up, but tennis. I'm gonna throw it over to Sibby because we interviewed their head coach. But give us your Cliff Notes version of the interview that people are gonna get to see tomorrow about this tennis team.
Yeah, I'm I'm so stoked because the interview was so good, and y'all know we do interviews if you don't know. But we have interviews on our YouTube channel of athletes, and we also get to talk to coaches sometimes, which is great. And their head coach, Adam, and I don't have his last name typed on my notes. Herendeen. And I struggled with it earlier too. Y'all know I try my hardest with these names, but they get me. And I was like, Adam, we're just going to be on first name basis. But that's the kind of guy that he felt like, I was like, I usually try to feel out vibes here. What are we doing here, Adam? And he's like, no, we're cool. Like, we'll talk tennis. He was really cool. He was so cool. He seems to be, he's newer at Texas Tech too. So it's cool to hear his perspective and his shift to this team that's had a lot of success this season, like you're talking about. And, if we look at what happened since we last talked to y'all last week, they went to Oklahoma State. OSU has been a thorn in our side this week. I'll tell you what, but they didn't win, but they competed and they were tough. And Adam talks about that. And it's exciting to watch them now. Like you're talking about, hey, look over here. If you're feeling a little blue, feel a little red and black over here because they're getting ready for the NCAA tournament. And I have never in my life, Shelby, been hyped for the NCAA tennis tournament until right now. You know what I mean? But like, if I know anything about Red Raiders, we go hard for the dumbest and like the most random, you name it, we're going to be 100%. And this is an opportunity for us to be 100% about women's tennis.
Am I going to live tweet tennis next week?
I think
I'm going to live tweet tennis next week.
Yes, you
Y'all prepare yourself mentally.
That was rhetorical, sister. But yeah, really stoked for them. Really stoked to see what's happening with tennis. But yeah, school records being broken. What's this note that you got here?
Yeah, Metka and Avi is the team's top double team. They are so much fun to watch. We talked about Mecca Comac with Coach
That's like,
Herendine on the thing and how hype she is, and he talks about her being really, she's fun to
my
watch. Just turn
gosh.
it on, and she brings the energy. She's in the top doubles team, and they broke the school record for doubles wins on court 1. And what this means, as my title says, I'm a tennis analyst in training. I'm working, guys. What this means is in tennis you have different, so they have to rank your teams in doubles just like they rank them in singles. So the team's best double team is going against the other team's best double team on court 1. The second best against the second best, and all these, how they ranked, and that keeps it fair. It'd be unfair if you stacked, which people have done this year. I've been researching tennis. There's been a couple of games that have been forfeited recently, or they've had their results.
Oh my gosh, tennis has
recently because there's been people stacking lineups where they are messing with the order where it shouldn't be. You can't do that. So what this means is these girls are going against the other team's best most times out, and they've won 19 of those matchups this year, which is absurd. And they almost took down the number 4 doubles team in the country the other day. Against, they were up like 5-1 or something, and I was watching it, and Oklahoma State stormed back. But Mecca and AVR, I think it's AV. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that your nickname wrong, but we're trying here. Are number 7 in the country, so they're no slouches either. They're really good. This is a really fun team, and I think how it works after they do the team thing, they'll have an opportunity to go do like doubles,
their own thing
as well. So.
Cool.
Or singles, maybe. I don't know. I'm learning, like I said, in training. But they're one of the best doubles teams in the nation, and they broke a record for that. So
hype. Yeah, and like y'all know, we love the hype that we see it so often that it sometimes just becomes part of it. But tennis has that hype, and when you watch, especially, and we talked about it with Coach, and it was so fun to hear his perspective too, because he's like, I want Tech fans to be louder. And he talks about it, y'all. Like he gives you the 101 on how to be a Red Raider. Like what we're good at, we're not good at being quiet. That is for damn sure. So he's like, I need more, and that's like so exciting. I wish I could go see that and experience that. So
for myself, it's fine.
Nobody saw it, but you pointed it out, so now I'm gonna change my title on the stream to I don't know what I'm gonna put. Anyway, but tennis, love to see it, love to see the hype. Watch that interview when it drops tomorrow. Yeah, on Thursday.
Which will be Thursday, depending on when you're watching this.
That is true. Thursday.
It could be out right now.
The 25th. It could be 5,000 years from now. Who knows? Tennis is hype.
You should definitely need to go watch the interview. Keep track of this team. So what's going to happen here is they're off this week. They just finished Big 12 tournament, which we'll show a fun clip from. But next Monday, this coming Monday, the selection show will happen. They're a lock. They're going to get in. A coach told us that we're a 2 seed. So we'll be the second best seed in someone's region. He thinks they'll get sent to the West Coast realistically, but we'll see where they get sent. They'll find that out on Monday. So if you want to watch that, it'll be sometime. And then they'll also do the singles tournament at some point as well. So that's coming up, and I believe they start it Friday. So they don't have very much time. They got to travel. They got to get ready. They got to go.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround.
So I might be live tweeting tennis and softball at the same time.
Quit lying to our people. You are. Tune in, y'all. Seeing Scarlett on Twitter.
I don't know. I'll try.
And go check that out. And then maybe I'll post about like my learning of tennis on our website in a little blog post.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Sibby's celebrations. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, Sibby, I like it. Should we spill water on a t-shirt? Thanks.
Anyway, gotta let people know.
And this was a cool clip that I happened to catch. I knew we were interviewing the coach, and so I was like, I need to tune into this whole Big 12 thing and see if I can get up on this sport before we actually talk to him. And boy, did I turn in at the right time, and then I couldn't look away. I ended up watching that thing for an hour and a half. I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
I'm a retriever now.
I may not understand a sport, but it really doesn't take me long to get into it. And
you're a sporty spice.
Now I'm a tennis expert in my mind. You'll get pulled into it really quick because, as you'll see on this clip, the way that they show it, you can watch like multiple matches at the same time. It's great. But I happen to be watching when the announcer gave Texas Tech the all-time plug and the all-time recruiting pitch for any other athletes out there thinking about coming to Texas Tech, because he gave us all the love. And keep in mind, we're playing number 1 Oklahoma State at the time. We're giving them all they can, right? We're taking them to 3 sets on 5 of the 6 courts. People don't do that to this team, and really pushing them in this match. And this guy gives us a nice little shout out. So here you go.
Or respect Texas Tech. And I think they're sending a message to the rest of the country. Hey, if we're not a top 16 seed and we come to your region, we can win the darn thing.
Win the darn thing. He's speaking Scarlet language right there.
So impressed by the tenacity.
Tenacity.
The fight on every court. The playing style. Again, it's not these tremendous weapons and they're just slapping away, right? Getting hot. No, this is earned.
Let's go.
Wasn't that hype?
What?
That was hype.
We need to find that name. Who are you?
Oh yeah, I don't know. The Cracked Rackets is who does the Cracked Rackets. I believe is the name of the organization that does these awesome telecasts now. And this does not exist until this year, so it's much easier to follow tennis now. Y'all are get into it. I promise. If you enjoy sports and competition, you're gonna like watching college tennis because of the way it's set up. So
go
watch them on Friday, and they have a chance to pull an upset if you listen to that guy. We're gonna get sent to someone's region, and we have a chance to win the dang thing if we get the right matchup. So, but yeah, that was cool. And Coach talks about that in his interview, that he's like, yeah, we may always have the most talented player on the court, but we have talent everywhere. It's like a team effort, and they have a lot of grit, and they're very entertaining to watch. A lot of energy.
Lots of. I mean,
he talks about that in the interview. One of my favorite parts that y'all are here is he talks about how much energy the team has, and that in their like pre-game warm-ups or the day before, they're practicing and just hooping and hollering and making a lot of noise. And like the other team will be like, is there something wrong with them? Like, what is wrong with these people? And that they just have a lot of energy, and it's different in college tennis that's allowed, and in pro tennis it's more prim and proper.
Too.
And
we need to stop.
It's been get into it. Let them hear from him. But it's a really interesting interview because it's something that you don't always get to hear, because we don't know a lot about tennis or how it works or how college tennis works.
The culture
and all that.
of it,
So I think it'll be. You should definitely. Maybe you don't think you want to listen to it for some reason. You're like, oh, tennis isn't my sport. I'm telling you, it's intriguing, and if you want to learn more about, you'll come away a fan of the coach, the team, the players.
Yeah, you come out a
really
fan.
Cool stuff. I'm legit like excited to watch tennis next week. Like I'm like ready.
I am too.
Like softball is playing the number 1 team in the country that night, and I'm hyped for that as well. But I'm like, how the heck are we gonna cover both of these at the same time, Sibby? Because whoever thought that was gonna be something that's going on in my brain.
They were
that's how excited
about us in this scheduling process.
How dare they?
Showing. It is showing.
Rude.
Yeah, the interview is really cool. And y'all should go listen to it. So, yeah, Did we tell him when the date is for the selection show?
I said Monday, this coming Monday, the 27th. Is that right?
Just wanted to make sure that give y'all a place to go to continue the conversation and get the hype.
We'll let y'all know. We'll watch.
That's true.
But hopefully we can get some of y'all to watch with us.
Okay. Great. Watch party.
And we even told Coach, I don't know if he's going to do it. We said if they pull the upset off, maybe we'll get him on the live show next week to celebrate with us for about 5-minute cameo. We'll see. We'll see if he wants to join. Maybe a player can do it and get Comac on here.
I mean,
Mecca, what's up?
Yeah.
Get the whole squad on.
Get the whole
cam.
squad.
If y'all are listening, get that upset, and we'll find a way to get them all in one view. We can come celebrate, have a little 5-minute celebration. Y'all can get back to work.
Tennis is having a moment, like I think we talked about that in the interview. I'm moving on. We're gonna talk about golf now. I'm so sorry.
Or we skip
another
basketball,
sport.
But you can talk about golf first. We can do basketball.
Well, it just felt like country club sports. Okay, let me round this out, and then we have
Olympic sports is probably the
Olympic sports. Sorry,
I think that's...
Oh no. Yeah. Am I canceled? I don't know. So we're gonna talk about golf because they are also popping off in so many different ways, social media and beyond. It is so fun to watch this team and their personalities because it's like, dang, like kids are funny. Like college students, they're so funny, they're so creative. So just an immediate shout
Yeah.
out about that. The lowdown specifically with Kylie Lowe, she's
Crushing it.
Yeah, you can see like, yeah, girl, this could be, you could have multiple careers on what you're doing here, and so hyped to see that success.
Someone hire
in a
that
way.
girl.
Yeah, I mean, already, yeah. But with that, we have some individuals to highlight. The first one being Lauren Zarski. She's in the Las Vegas regionals and as an individual competing, and really exciting for her, really hype for her. She's been good and doing the damn thing this whole season. So
good. Yeah.
to have that acknowledgement is hype. So she's competing against people from all over the country. I did, oh my gosh, a scout. Should we do a scouting report? Lauren, we got you. We're gonna do
No.
scout. I'm just kidding. I
I
don't
thought
know.
you had one.
No,
I am.
But like,
I'm gonna
golf
leave that to
is-
you. Go do a scouting report on golf. I don't
Do
have
they
any.
even do that because it's so an individual sport? Oh my gosh, Lauren.
I
we have
don't think
questions.
they don't scout their opponents. They would scout the course.
The
Yeah,
course.
golf is you against the
Listen,
course.
Yeah, I'm a huge golfer. And then in addition to Lauren, Gala Dumas, with the top 5 finishing performance in the Big 12 tournament, within the top 5, and she's been also a consistent performer on this roster, and it was cool to see her get that acknowledgement, and also like their coach hyping them up on Twitter. Like that's the other part of me that I enjoy. Like I love seeing like parents being like, "That's my kid," and then the coaches being like, "That's my kid." You know, like the hype is there. But congrats to her, yeah, with the top 5 finish in the Big 12. So couple of highlights there with golf. And speaking about Big 12 and the championship, the team as a whole, Texas Tech finished 5th out of 13 in the Big 12 championship. So improvement, room to grow. We love it, love to see it. And then on the men's side of things, I know we have some highlights there, and we're going to talk about Matthew Guys, and he shot 4 under par, finished 14th at the Big 12 championship. So exciting to see that from Matthew. And that's what I have from the golf country club
I
side.
don't know. Like as a team, I don't know that we're making it to the postseason this year, but it's cool that Zaretsky's going for on the girls' side, and then on the women's side, and then the men's, I assume, will be announced soon. If they just did Big 12 as well. So they, I think, will make it as a team. I think they've been doing decently as a team this year. So, but they did obviously lose Ludwig. Both teams lost their number 1 golfer, and the women's team lost their number 1 golfer like right before the season started because she went pro. And then obviously Lauren has stepped up really big time. But imagine if they had both of them still had Tan around here too. Yeah, they would have been really good. But still, they still had a pretty good season. So, and now we get to watch Lauren do her thing. So
That's right.
Let's go. What a place to get picked to. Like, can you imagine? I'm sure there's different locations. Like, you get to go to play on the course in Vegas. Is that the course that has that giant spear? Have you seen the pictures where you can golf and that big old spear is like in your vision? I wonder if that's the course they play on. I don't know.
I feel like it's so big you could be anywhere in Vegas and it's like that big. You know?
That's
but
true.
yeah,
Like, it seems like a good spot to get sent, like versus like Kansas or something. Yeah. You playing at some. I'm sure the course is beautiful. We have a beautiful course in Lubbock as well. But you know what I mean. But like, you get sent to Vegas, you get to play with that skyline in the background.
You know,
like,
I mean,
it's a pretty good draw. It's a pretty good draw.
In my 30s, I'm like, Vegas. I hope you have a great time. But you know, I don't know how a college student feels.
I wasn't thinking like she's gonna go party before she goes. I mean, like the scenery though. I'm like, it's pretty cool to play in the background.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about having a blast, and then I have to go play golf.
I hope that's not happening.
No, it's not.
That's why you are not a college golfer.
That's why I'm not a college golfer.
She does that after she wins. Then she gets to go out.
She probably still doesn't do that.
Probably not.
She's a better golfer than me. I don't know. I mean, I do know. Anyway, so that's golf, our Olympic style.
Nailed it.
And now we'll talk about basketball for the rest of our lives. Shelby.
All right, if y'all been sticking around for Lady Raider news and notes, I mean, first of all, where you been? It's on our website. It's on Twitter. But if you want a little more info, here you go. If this is the only show you watch every week, if you're a Facebook follower and they're like, what do you mean all these things on Twitter? Well,
shout out
Facebook people.
to the Facebook followers.
We do have pretty good viewership on Facebook. I always forget that you're watching on Facebook. Our Facebook fans love it. So y'all might not be aware of a lot of the info that's going on because we don't post as often over there because I can't do it on 5 different devices at one time. I'm sorry. I'm not cool like that. But what has happened since last week? Last week we gave you a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge that a commitment was coming soon. That next morning we got Jalen Bristow, who is the headliner for a good reason of this portal class. She's a big one, y'all. Like former top 50 player in the country. Class of 2023. She was a freshman this year, Miss Texas basketball from Holiday, Texas, right outside of Wichita Falls, coming back. I guess people consider Wichita Falls West Texas. I did not know that until recently, so I guess she's coming back to West Texas. Okay. I would call that North Texas, but it's all West Texas, as our brethren over at Gambling Gaucho says, so what does it matter? It's all West Texas.
Geography with Shelby.
She's coming home, and she's 6'3", 6'2", depending on where you look. She calls herself 6'3", so I'm going with that. Forward with a lot of guard skills. There is an article on our website with a lot of clips from her and her playing style. She's only going to be a sophomore next year, so I'm not trying to put the weight of the world on her. We forced our sophomores to take the weight of the world last year. Hopefully she doesn't need to.
They're tired.
Yeah, hopefully she doesn't need to do that this year because those sophomores that we just talked about are now juniors and they can carry that. But she is going to be a really explosive piece for this team, a really athletic piece that can play a lot of different spots, and fans are going to really enjoy what she can bring to the game, and her potential is outrageously through the roof. You could say this is the best recruit that this staff has ever brought in. Like, she has that much potential, and there's some really good players on this team. So that's what I'm saying about Jalen Bristow. There's a reason people, when that was announced, that didn't know. There's people in the basketball who were like, "Oh snap! Texas Tech just got a big get." That weren't aware that she was. I don't know what. I guess maybe we've just been talking about it for so long. I didn't realize it was a shock, but it seemed like it was for a few people. So that was cool. I don't have any of her basketball clips because I feel like we've been talking about Jalen Bristow for a month now. It feels that way, and we've shown you every clip that we have of her. But if for some reason this is the first show you've seen, go to our website, check them out. We posted them everywhere. But we did want to show you her fun commitment video. That the team puts together. Shout out to the team because their video department has been crushing it. Boom. Yeah, she looks right at home in that Lady Raider uniform. So we're really hyped about Jalen, and I think she's going to bring a lot to this team. Versatility. She's going to run the floor. She's going to hit threes. She's going to play great defense. She's great, and she's coming home. And most of all, her announcement, she said, "Loyal to the soil," which is my new favorite marketing campaign. I hope we use that with so many other recruits. To stay home like that. I mean, she came up with that herself. I know that because someone told me about that before she announced it, and they're like, "Don't use this," because I think she's going to use it. But that was what her and her family themselves said when they were talking about the options. Was like she just decided she wanted to be loyal to the soil. Cool. And I'm like, that is just, I don't know where you heard that.
You know we love our dirt.
Brain.
We love dirt.
We love dirt. I don't think, dirt. It's not just because it rhymes, y'all. It's the dirt part of this.
It's in the dirt, y'all.
It fits so well with Love It. She crushed it there.
That is
so
really good.
But yeah, that's Jalen Bristow. She accolades. She won state there, Class 3A state champion, player of the year. In the state, Small Town America Player of the Year, and Dave Campbell, Miss Texas basketball. She got some playing time for Iowa State, 5.1 points, 3.7 rebounds, 47.7% from the field, and 37.9% from three. Like I said, she can do a little bit of it all. She only played about 15 minutes a game for them, was just kind of stuck behind some good players. But her per 40 averages, which if you're not familiar with that means, that's basically just if she played 40 minutes and you extrapolated her stats out, she would have averaged 13.4 points per game and 9.7 rebounds per game. That's all freshman team stuff, if not honorable mention in the Big 12 stuff. No one's really playing 40 minutes a game, but you get what I'm saying. If she got the minutes, she would have put up solid numbers, and that's what gives you hope. So she's a gamer. I love her attitude. That's what we talked about in the article. She wants to win. I think success is a choice, is her bio we talked about. Like, all these things that she talks about. Because, I say that all the time, like, toughness is a choice.
Yeah.
When I read that her bio was success is a choice, I'm like, I'm going to like Jalen Bristow.
She's just walking around with, like, absolute bars. What?
Yeah, yeah. She's saying the things, and she plays that way
after
too.
banger.
Fake, so.
Okay.
Shout out. So she's. I mean, if Jalen Bristow does not end up being the quote unquote headliner of the class, coach is out there working. But we do have some more ones we're about to talk about that are real spicy, and I'm excited about as well. Tease. Before that, though, we had another commitment from that first group that we talked about quite a bit as well. Ivana Krajina, shout out her. She did message us. We asked her in her recruiting video, and we said, let us know if we said your name right. And we said Krajina, and she said, you almost nailed it. So I'm wondering if there's just a little bit more emphasis on the E, so I'm going Krajina. I don't know. Let us know, Ivana. She was nice and didn't tell us. I'm like, you're allowed to correct us. And she's like, I'll let you know.
I mean,
but let us know. Just like send us a pronunciation, send us a video
and
thing.
Honestly,
we're going to get it perfect. By the time y'all are dancing in March next year, I mean, we're going to have it down.
Hopefully before then, but yeah.
Hopefully before then, yeah. By November, if you let us know. But we tried, but she was appreciative that we tried and said we almost nailed it. So cool. She is a point guard, a 5'11" point guard from Odessa College. And JUCO first team All-American player, averaged 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2.4 steals a game. She did it all for them. And now she's coming over. We needed a point guard. She's going to be one of those for us at least. And she's going to come in and fit a need that we absolutely needed. And the more you learn about her, the more you like about her. Like she is a gym rat. She wants to work. She wants to get better. If you look at her stats her freshman year, she improved by 8 points a game. She doubled pretty much all of her stats in one year. That's not normal. Jasmine Shavers pretty much did that as well and led the Big 12 in improvement as a scorer from one year to the next. That was what Jazzy did this year for us. And it's not normal. And that's why it was so impressive what she was doing. You bring in someone else that did that as well at the JUCO level, but it shows the work she's putting in. So she's joining a group. She's joining a team where she gets to run point and pass it out to people like Jazzy and pass it out to people like Bailey and Bird and Jada and Logan and Bristow that we just talked about. And it's going to be fun, and she just has the right mindset, and I just really like her potential. She's very fundamental, but she's also very athletic, and we'll show a clip, and you'll see some of her game tape in there as well, but you can see more of it on our website and the articles we put out. She's really fast. Actually, when you watch her play, she jumps out like she's out of place, and that's why you know she's ready for the D1 level, because she's fast, she's athletic. Someone said that she thinks she's going to challenge Kyla Freeland in sprints, and I'm like, hold up.
Wow,
if she's that fast,
so fast,
I need to see that. So if we got a point guard and that's just as fast as Kyla getting down the floor, I mean, good luck. So, but yeah, she's good. She needs to improve on some things. They all do, but I'm excited about her, and she was excited about coming to Texas Tech. The news station there locally in Odessa interviewed her. Her commitment just came out a couple days ago, or her announcement. So this was just last night, maybe this came out. I don't know. Time is irrelevant. Yep. And she talks about why she chose Tech, and y'all are going to love it.
Had a lot of mid-majors and, high major schools started reaching out sometimes like towards the end of our season when we made it to regionals, made it to nationals, had a really successful season. I don't know. I just stuck with Texas Tech because I really like the coaches. I think what they are trying to build over there is great, and I can see myself fit in really well with the team too. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'll just let that play in the background so you can see the highlights. But yeah, that was yeah. Who doesn't love the coaches when they get on campus and get to meet them? So
hey,
I just like the part about liking what we're building here, because another thing we talk about in that is she did that at Odessa. She knows what it takes to build her winning culture. She is a winner. I think she's won everywhere she went, and she definitely won there. They hadn't been to the postseason in 5 years at Odessa, and she went there and took them there, and I think they made it to the Elite Eight. It was like the third round of the NCAA tournament, almost upset the number 2 seeded team to make it to that, what would have been the Final Four, I guess. I watched that game, and they only lost that 2, and she was in foul trouble, and it was some stupid, listen, Ivana, if you're listening to this for some reason, you got hosed. There were some bad calls, and it kept her out of the game, but when she got in there, she made an impact, and of course her teammates did well as well, so she knows how to get a team back to that. I get it, different level, but the mindset to win is not any different. I don't care, that's the same junior high basketball as it is to Division I Power 5. The mindset about what it takes to win, the winning culture, their winning mindset, those things are the same. And so if she brings that along with the players we already have that, and these other ones we're bringing in that have that excites me. So she's another one of those players with high potential and feels a need for this team. I think she'll be a fan favorite real quick because of the way she plays and her hustle, and might be apparently the hardest worker on the team, which I know other players on the team that will take offense to that statement because they believe they're the hardest worker on the team. And that makes me happy, and they'll just go at it in practice. You're going to have to be like putting cots in the gym for some of these players that are trying to prove that they're the hardest worker now. And that's what we need. We need more of that. So keep bringing them in, Ivana. We're hype.
Coach Shelby in the ring, baby. Oh, sorry.
I mean, I don't know. I've never.
What if
I don't think people want me to coach them.
Okay, well, you just made a mistake by saying that on the internet, and now you're gonna be a coach somewhere. Yeah, super super stoked to see it. The more that like I've been able to watch her play in like clips, and even like her international play, like being able to bring that component and that scope, I think is something that the team really values and can benefit from, and it's going to be exciting to see her her presence with the squad. I'm stoked about it. It's always like, I mean, the portal, and it's been a bummer with losing the players that we've gotten to love and their stories, and that love stays on forever. It's just like,
it's
okay,
it's a different,
yeah,
it needed to happen for all parties, but it is always tough to say bye.
It's just the circle of life, and we love them forever. And then getting the excitement for this upcoming season, and it's the portal feeling. I don't know. It's kind of Christmassy, but a little different and scary. So Halloween. No, I can't do that.
We're only a week away from the Halloween portion of the portal part being over. There's only one more week for players to enter the portal. So we've almost survived it. No, everybody on this team said they're returning. We're good there. I mean, hopefully, but never say never. But there's only one more week till it closes, and then they'll start cleaning it up. But this team has Jalen Bristow and now Ivana Karina that we have signed on the team. Buckets. We have 3 more spots to go, right? That's 1 point guard. They're probably going to sign another primary ball handler of some kind, another guard. That's what they seem to be going after. They have 3 spots. They're bringing in 4 visitors this weekend.
Dang.
If one of them's a 2025 high school kid, so that wouldn't count against this year's roster.
Right.
But the other 3, again, when they say they're visiting, that doesn't mean they've been offered yet. It's a mutual visit. So they're filling each other out. But if it goes well, we offer them. They all sign. We might be done with
interview.
The roster by the time this weekend or next week. It'll take some time, but we'll see how they go. Some exciting players that y'all have heard us talk about. We'll start with local kid. We talked about her last week. Not kid. She's a grown woman now, right? I feel old, but so I think of them as kids. But they're college. They're college adults now. So
they can vote.
She's from Lubbock. She started at Lubbock. Adley Blacklock. If you're a Lubbock native, you know that name. Won 2 state championships for Trinity. Then I believe she had an injury, so she missed her junior year. But she started then at Lubbock Cooper. Her senior year was Class 5A. Whatever district that is, MVP, All-State, all those things. And then she went on to Oregon State, where she's been the last 2 years. She, if you've heard us talk about her before, she's one of those people that didn't really want to stay home. She wanted to experience the world, so she chose a great place to do that. As everyone knows what's going on with Oregon State, it's pretty sad. They're without they had to move down conferences because the Pac-12
Oh my gosh.
dissolved, and they weren't a team. They weren't one of those schools that got picked up by one of the other power conferences. So their entire team's basically transferring. So she's looking for a new home, and she has options, and we're one of those. And she's a sharpshooter. I can pull up a clip of her that kind of shows you who she is real quick. But she would be. She would be a really nice ad, a really fun ad to this team, and someone that this clip will just show it. This is her to the max. This is what you're getting from Adley.
Of course, they're without Reagan Beers, who's
this is this
in
year.
the conference, more than 10 rebounds a game.
A bucket on one end. Wait for it.
She's quick. She quick.
I know Sibby's gonna like this.
Oh no!
With her left hand.
And there's an offensive foul.
A charge on the other end.
Taken by Blacklock. Adley Blacklock.
That's Adley Blacklock. That's where you're getting. Everyone knows her as a shooter. She's absolutely a shooter. She is a shooter. Tenfold. She averaged 40% from three in her 2 years at Oregon State. We have an article out there on the website about her visit. There's more videos of her shooting in there. Hopefully, if she commits, man, we'll give you the goods and we'll give you all the fun videos because she has some fun ones. She's a celebrator. There's an article out there. They called her Mad. Her nickname is Madly. Adley, but Madly because of her grit and the way she celebrates, and that's what they call her.
Tough.
And she's tough and she's fun, and she would add an element a little bit similar to Jada, but like a little different as well. And you can never have enough shooters on this team in that way.
You can never have enough Jadas.
And it's the energy. It's the energy that Adley brings that'll get you fired up. Like there's a clip in the article that we posted. You can go read it now about her visit. She makes a three, and then this girl is like that's an exact replica of what she did. Just like screaming in these big games. And a lot of these highlights that you see of Adley are in big moments. This one right here is against the number 6 or something team. Okay, they're number 10 or something in this video, but that's USC, who almost made the Final Four. They're in the Elite 8, just lost to Paige Beckers and UConn with the stars on that team. And this player that she does that against was one of their best players, and she just so she brings. Everyone knows her as a shooter. I wanted to show that clip because she can do other things.
Yep. And like the way that she went coast to coast and hustled down this court, like
Good point.
from the second, like you can see this, it gets on her and she's already like cooking. She picks up her player right here. No drop in coverage. Like she was there ready. And then to have that energy immediately after is hype. And
hype.
you just ran from one side of the court to the next and you're like, where's my got it? Bat. Done deal. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yep. I love her energy the most. I think that's something
It seems
that's
like
a hard thing to judge, and it's not tangible necessarily. So, and it can't be the only reason you recruit a player. Absolutely not, because they're not going to get on the floor if they're just a good energy player. But they'd be a great bench player, cool. But they need to, you need both. You know what I mean? So, so I'm not saying you bring in a player just because they have good energy, but she's a player that is both skilled and has good energy. Like she her best stretch of play at Oregon State came for her freshman year. They were really loaded at the guard position this year, so she kind of split time. But at the end of her freshman year, she got to start the last 5 games of the year. She scored double figures in 5 of the last 6 games of the year, including 22 points against number 15 in the nation at the time, Arizona. Like, she can put it up. Like, her per 40 averages for both years she's been there are at about 15 points per game. Like, when she's in the game, she's scoring. she's getting it done,
making a difference,
and she's making a difference. And she'll hustle on defense. She'll fight on defense. She brings good size. She's another 6-foot guard, and you saw that that's a forward that she got matched up with, and that'll happen a lot if she ends up at Texas Tech as well because of her size. And she won't have a problem with taking that on if it happens. So I like her a lot. Obviously, a hometown kid that'll be a fan favorite because of that. But as we talked about last week when we kind of hinted that this makes like sense that one that might be visiting soon, turns out she is. She'll be a fan favorite. If she was from Timbuktu, she'd still be a fan favorite because of that energy. She was a fan favorite up there in Corvallis. Is that where Oregon State is?
Nice. Correct.
Geography.
Good.
She's a big fan. That people are really sad to lose her because of her as a person. Not just because of her player. So
we'll
she's
take
coming
good care.
Again, she has other options. I'm sure she's a good player. So everyone show her some love. Let her make her decision. But we're hopeful. That would be just another nice piece of the puzzle. We got a point guard we talked about, another person for them to spot up, shoot it, and crush it. So shout out Adley.
Yeah, I think it's like the era of hometown heroes. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, we just came off this basketball season of
loyal
magic.
to the soil. Hey, Bristow,
Loyal
can you get another one? Adley, you want to be loyal to the soil?
Too loud. We can't. We'll continue to go down that path. That is a good path. I like this.
That's a good path.
That's a good path. I tell you what, it's in the dirt.
Does Ivana count in that? Because she stayed in West Texas.
That's
It's
true.
her second home.
Honestly,
she could have gone other places.
Odessa,
she was actually, I won't say the school because I don't want to. She was actually up near where I am on a visit before she committed to Texas Tech up here in North Carolina. She could have gone all over the place, and she chose to stay in West Texas.
Hey, that's true. I mean, and
I'm gonna give her credit. Loyal to
I
the
hear
soil.
you. No, I hear you. Loyal to the soil. Loyal to the soil. There's something else I was gonna say, but I forgot. So
I'm sorry.
It's
Hopefully
okay.
we'll be able to talk about her more when she commits, right?
Correct. Yes.
Another one that's coming is one that y'all have heard me babble about so much if you're loyal to Seeing Scarlet. Danae Fritz. Listen, if she signs and she commits and I'll put myself on blast and we'll show the clip next week. But there's a clip of me out there last year of being like, there's no way this is going to happen. I'm like sad girl in it. And Sibby's like, you never know, Shelby. But she was like my portal favorite last year. We talked in the same episode about wanting Jordan Merritt. I'm like, we get Jordan Merritt, we get Danae Fritz. Let's go. But I knew it was a bit of a long shot last year because she had a lot of big schools and quite frankly contenders after her because she was on the all Big 12 freshman team 2 years ago at Iowa State on the same year that Bailey was on that team. They played against each other a lot. They talked smack to each other a lot in a good way, in a friendly way. Like they'll be really, I think they're going to like I think they would like playing together if that happens. So she brings a swagger to the game and an energy to the game and straight up just a hooper. She has the background, y'all. Another all-state, these Miss whatever basketball, we're collecting them like coins. She's Miss Tennessee basketball in 2021, and she was the runner-up for that same award in 2020. And I think she's being targeted as a primary ball handler as well. She hasn't had the opportunities to do that at the college level yet, and I think Texas Tech is a great opportunity because of all these people she have around her, right? Like, I mean, I don't think, like, these are great portal ads, and they're going to be huge if we get her as well as the ones we've already gotten, but two of the best portal ads we got were keeping Bailey and Jazzy, the two leading scorers. Like, I hate to break it to you, y'all. Maybe you didn't lose sleep over it, but there ain't no single way there weren't people trying to get those two in the portal because they led the Big 12 in scoring as sophomores. They were top 5 as freshmen, and they're still here. And you bringing in people that can pass them the ball, that they're going to have, I mean, Danae, Ivana, whoever was going to be running point for us is going to have so much space to operate because those two are going to be taking up a lot of attention. Like, it could be fun. We just need to keep adding people at that spot. And, man, Danae is a fun player for sure.
Yeah. A familiar name on this podcast, that's for sure.
I bring up let's see, I got maybe a clip of her in here somewhere. I can bring it up.
Yeah. Danae Fritz too, like, she reminds me a little bit of Kat in the way of the energy that you're talking about, and she's got like cool tats and stuff too, so I'm just automatically all about it and seeing a little bit of clips of when you talked about her a year ago, but also from like doing research for tonight's episode. It's so clear that hype and that the energy, like this Thanos glove that we might reference to with what Krista, we gotta make a thing, a meme of Krista Gerlich with the Thanos thing.
I'll work on that.
Yeah, I bet you, like, if I asked, somebody would do it right now in the chat. So just saying, opportunities up there. I got you. Oh, yep. Did you want to play that clip?
That was the wrong one, so we're working on it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyway, I feel like I'm just
you can
bopping around by myself here. Anyway, make that meme. Do that thing. Oh,
here's one clip of her, guys. There's a lot of clips of her on our websites. technical difficulties tonight. But this is just one from her last year at Baylor. She didn't get to play as much at Baylor that she deserved to play, quite frankly, because when she was out there, she was doing stuff like this. But she was stuck behind an All-American point guard. This is her showing
Turn it over, 13.
Little and one action for Danae Fritz. That's what she's capable of. She can get to the lane with ease and watch the replay. She can take some punishment and still finish it, which is what we talk about. Danae Fritz is really well known for her toughness. That's what people know her from going back to Tennessee.
My gosh.
I think her high school coach was quoted in an article I read as saying that she has a turnaround jumper that can't be stopped. Her toughness can't, she's one of the most underrated players in the country, and whoever gets her is going to be the luckiest coach in America. And at the time, who got her was Iowa State, and now she's coming to Texas Tech, hopefully. If I can get any way to pray to the gods to make this happen. Because I wanted it for 2 years now, and Baylor fumbled that bag, idiots, and we can have a chance at her now, I hope. And I think it would be a great opportunity for her to finally have that chance to really run the show a little bit and prove, hey, this is what I can do, because she's put up good numbers. I mean, she started 31 games for Iowa State, who won the Big 12 that year as a freshman. And she put up solid numbers playing off ball, and she didn't have much of a high usage rate. So you put her in offense where she has all these weapons around her, and she gets to do that kind of stuff. She could be fun. But there's more videos of her on our website, on the video or the article we put out about the visits. But Danae's one that I would be really excited about. A lot of potential there. I think she could be a really great player. I do. I believe that. I'll stand on that. I said it last year. I'm going to stand on that 10 toes that I still think she could be a really good player in this country if she has a chance to prove herself. And give her some grace. It might take a little bit of time to shake off some rust and all that stuff, but she'll bring that energy. She reminds me of Big Cat, the energy, the fight, the swagger that she has. And I think we missed that a little bit last year. We need some more players. We have a couple of them like that. And I think we have more of them like that. And if they have a little bit of someone that's can't help but be that way, it'll bring it out in some more. So that's what I like about her most is she's another one of those types that brings a little bit of an edge. And when that's your point guard, I think that means a little bit more as well, because they're not gonna back down from anybody else, and they're gonna have the ball in their hands a lot and kind of getting things started. So I'm really I'm trying to keep myself from not just going down a rabbit hole with her until it's a thing and we get it done. Otherwise, I'll just be another sad girl that's just playing for another team. But
you've done it before,
I survived last year.
You did it once.
Instead, last year I was just mad every time I watched Baylor. I'm like, why are you not letting her play? But now, hopefully that'll be here, because she's fun to watch. Yeah. I couldn't. Obviously, we're Team Bailey in those matchups when they played Iowa State 2 years ago.
Of course.
And they ended up guarding each other. But I was the whole time, man.
Game recognizes
she would be so fun on this team if she could play with us, and so I'm hopeful that they can make it happen. But she's visiting. I believe her visit starts tomorrow, so she could be on a plane there right now. For all I know, if she's probably already there, I guess maybe. But so that's fingers crossed on that. Hopefully it goes well.
Cool. Yeah, it's hype to see her energy and just her journey, because we've had a little closer eye on the potential players.
When I heard that there was a chance, the way I knew she was in the portal a couple weeks ago, I didn't even bring her up, because I was like, I don't want to be hurt again.
I can't
Didn't
go through
even bring her up. I was like, we're just not gonna. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna even get my hopes up. And when I heard there was some sort of chance, I was like, they're lying to me. That's not happening.
Gosh.
And then when we got word, I was like, texted Sarah, you won't believe who's coming on a visit.
I love.
It's funny how that works. It works out.
I know.
Fellow sports junkies will understand that. There's certain
absolutely.
players that you watch in different sports where you're like, man, they're just really fun to watch. Yeah. And she was one of them, and to get that opportunity I think she would fit in well. So it would just be cool. So she's one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of Caitlin Clark. I know some people are really polar about that, but that type of story and that type of presence and that, those type of players exist in so many different teams, so many different.
To be clear, we're not calling her Caitlin Clark. I'm not putting that on her. But
sorry, yeah, I got
the
weird about that,
or
sorry.
I get what you're saying. Where
yeah,
they
yeah, you know what I'm
they
saying?
captivate you for different reasons.
Yeah,
So,
or like those stories are there, and like those caliber players are there, and so it's exciting to think of the potential if they're given like the resources, if they're given the opportunities to shine, or like to be in the offense that fits you, or like that fit. When players
that's
find
what
their
matters
fit,
most.
oh my gosh, it is the coolest thing to see when they find their fit competitively. But I mean, I talk about this a lot too. It's also really nice to see from the coaches. So when we hear players talk about like the coaches really made an impact, and we hear stories all across the spectrum
that
of
stuff
that.
will make me cry so much.
I know. So it's just so cool. I say it all the time, but I hope they're getting that experience, finding that fit and finding the fit
Absolutely.
in multiple ways.
And that's what these visits are about. Like,
Mhm.
listen, I'd love her to be a Lady Raider, but for some reason it's not the right fit. Obviously, go find it elsewhere. But I think it would be. I think it would be a good spot for her. So keep an eye on that this weekend. Hopefully we'll see some bling blings coming. We have one more, and this one absolutely fits a need. Everyone's been wanting some size on this team. Well, you don't get much bigger in women's basketball than 6'6". Maya Pete from Arkansas Pine Bluff. She is 6'6". She set the all-time record for rebounds in a career there at Pine Bluff, finishing with 688 career boards over 4 seasons. She has her COVID year remaining, so that's what she would be able to use at Texas Tech if that works out. Again, it's a two-way street. So, but it seems like she's coming for a visit. We'll see if it's a fit.
Cool.
But she averaged 10.4 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game this past season. I don't know if she comes to Texas Tech. She's not going to be out there dropping 20 a game or anything like that. I don't think. Who knows? You let Coach P, former WNBA player, get with her. Maybe she found some sort of untapped potential in this girl, and that's who she becomes. But that's not who she was there. But what she is a rebounder, someone that takes up space in the lane, someone that's pretty mobile for 6'6". I'm not calling her 6'6" JoJo mobile. She's not running up and down the court, catching passes from Ivana or Danae, like in the transition type player, like full speed. That's not her game, but that's not what we're bringing her here to do. In my opinion, she's being brought, in theory, a player like her to guard people like Audie Crooks in Iowa State and Aoka Lee in Kansas State. We're looking for that player that can help in that way and provide some depth and some size, because we all know that was a struggle for us last year with injuries, and we didn't have the size, and they want to allow players like Jordan Merritt and Kyla and Bristow that we just got here, they want to allow them to be freer. Even JoJo, if she can stay healthy, play on the outside more. And to do that, we're going to have someone that can man the paint and do that. And that's what Pete would do for us. So she's an intriguing player, and one of those that get her to Lubbock. And if, Coach P does her thing, who knows what she could become. But at minimum, she would kind of be a nice depth piece for them with the ability to match up well with certain opponents in this league that are pretty big size-wise.
Cool. Yeah. Oh,
Nice. Another fun fact about her, she is from a really... it's not going to let me post that video. Sorry, I'll just go to the website. It's the wrong format, so I don't have time to switch it for you. But on our website, we have a story out about Pete and all the visitors, and there's a long video in there from her game against Arkansas. So the cool thing about Pine Bluff is they actually did play a pretty solid schedule. I joked for someone, I was like, I think they might have played a harder schedule than we did. Right. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but they played like 6 or 7 Power 5 teams in the non-con. They absolutely played a harder non-con than we did. But then they get into their SWAC schedule and then it evens out, right? But they played 6 or 7 Power 5 teams, a lot of ranked ones, and they upset Arkansas on their home court in December. And she had some good moments in that game, and there's a clip, about a minute or so long clip, where I just spliced all of her moments from that game together. It's in the article. You can go watch it. What'll jump out is she has some decent mobility to her. I think that's what fans want to see at that position, something maybe we've missed a little bit for someone that size. Again, I'm not saying she's out there running sprints with people, but I mean, once she's in the half court, she can hold her own. Like, there was even a possession where she's out chasing a guard on the perimeter the whole time and stays in front of him, doesn't get a foul, even gets a hand up on a 3. And I was like, okay, something to work with here. I can do that. Yeah. And she has good footwork is probably what it is, the biggest thing. And that's what you need at that size. And that makes sense when you look into her family history, because her dad played in the NFL for 6 years, and her brother is currently, I think, maybe the starting left tackle for the Saints. So if
Okay.
that name sounds familiar, Andres
Athletes.
Pete is her brother for the Saints right now.
Cool.
And then her
Cool.
younger brother, Grant McCaslin, you listening? Maybe a combo deal? Her younger brother is like the number 5 player in the country or something in basketball. He's from they're all from Arizona. And he's a class of 2025. So if we get her on campus, it's a good excuse for old Grant to have an unofficial visit with her brother as well, who's one of the top men's basketball players in the country. But that family is
Stacked.
athletic, and I think they're all 6'5" or taller. So that's what you see in her. She has like kind of like the athletic background and the pedigree. She's just built for quick, powerful burst and like ready to go do it things. But she could be interesting. I mean, you give
Cool.
Coach P a player like that, and if she adds some down low moves and is a little more efficient when she has the ball, who knows if she could become that. But I'd take 10 points and 6 boards from her. I mean, that's fine with me if that's what we got. But yeah, she's an interesting one. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I don't think she gets here until later in the weekend. So it might be a while before anything's heard there. But if we have an update next week when we talk to you, hopefully it's good news if they decide it's a fit. But we'll leave that to the coaches. So yeah, need some size that would fit the other need on this team. So the 3 coming in are a shooter, a point guard in theory. That's what I think Danae Fritz is brought here to be. I don't think you're bringing in a shooting guard when you have Bailey and Jazzy. Thinks that's what she's coming in to do, and a big, which we need. And the 4th one is a high school player that would be a future player, class of 2025. You'll keep seeing class of 2025 players probably start trickling in for visits more often over the next few months because a lot of them will start making decisions soon. Brooklyn Stewart from Colorado Springs, Pine Creek High School, 6'3" forward, has a lot of guard skills. Where have you heard this before? Jordan Merritt, Jalen Bristow type player. When you watch her film, there's a clip of her on our website on that article if you want to watch it. She's currently ranked the 4th best player in the state of Colorado. I'm not sure that she's in the top 100 in the country yet, but she's rising pretty quickly. Wouldn't be shocked at all if she gets ranked here soon in the next update, from what I can gather. Similar to how Bird Martin, who we signed in our class last year, didn't get ranked until right after we signed her, I believe. And now, by the time we got done, she was up to 60th. So she averaged 20.8 points per game, 12.2 rebounds, 2.7 steals, 2.3 assists, and 1.4 rebounds per game this past season up in Colorado Springs, which, listen, it's one of those, you're playing against a D1 player, they put up silly stats. So she has that going for her. So yeah, just another intriguing prospect that we seem to be after, and we'll keep an eye on it and how it goes. She's coming in sometime this weekend. I hope the weather's nice. I hope they enjoy it. Let's keep that Colorado pipeline going. You know, it works for soccer. Let's start tapping into it.
It does work for soccer.
For basketball.
That's right. That's what's up. Yeah. Well, that's what we got for basketball. Is there any other basketball news?
No, that's what we got. Just follow the team, and they put out some fun content today. They're in the gym working, getting back at it.
I'm saying,
and can't help but get excited. I try to slap myself and be like, Shelby, don't get your hopes up, but I just can't help it. I love basketball too much. So
I know.
That's what they got going. And I believe the men's team's taking a little slower. Grant team seems to always slow play these things, we've learned. But they'll get their guys. They've signed a couple of new players that we talked about last week. But I think they have maybe one guy coming in on a visit. I don't know if it's been announced yet, so I don't want to say it. But I'm sure it's out there on the places that cover that. And they'll keep working as well. So the Womble is a train station and will continue to be over the next few weeks for sure.
All aboard.
Get it done.
Texas Tech Red Raiders. Cool. Good to know. I'm trying to think and go through.
Oh, I think the only sport we didn't cover is baseball. We'll just pretend like that game the other night didn't happen. Before that, they lost a tough one. Midweek games are stupid, brutal, quite frankly.
And just one game, right?
It was 17-3 or something silly.
Dude.
And they don't have like run rule. I guess in baseball it has to be like, I don't know why the game kept going, but maybe actually I think maybe they scored that a lot in the 9th inning. It's might been why it kept going. So
I see. Okay.
But at any rate, that's what happened there. But they did sweep number 22 West Virginia before that over the weekend, and that's the important thing here, right? It sucks that they dropped the midweek, but we weren't throwing our best players, and it happens. I hate midweek games. It happens all the time, all over the country. I think that Kansas softball, I just saw it while scrolling, lost to Kansas City or something with some like tiny school just now today in softball. and midweek. It happens for most sports because you're typically not throwing your aces out there. So
Yeah.
tough one, but that sweep against West Virginia was big. They needed that. Got them back into the conversation to be a host team. Maybe the last night didn't help them on that, but it doesn't matter. If they go take care of business this weekend, they're right back in the conversation. So
That's right.
I tend to, until he lets us down, in Tadlock, I trust this kind of time of year. I get it's been a little bit of an up and down season on the pitching side. Let's let the season play out before we make grand assumptions about the coaching staff, because they've proven it for so long that that I think he'll still get them in the postseason and show some fight, and then they'll regroup after. So
I love listening to his interviews.
Oh my God,
Tim Tadlock. He's so
AI
like
generated. He can't be real.
nah. He's just analog. He's like, this is it. We're playing
what we're
baseball,
gonna
and
do.
it's a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
we're
because
gonna
someone
go do
asked
it.
him. Shout out our family, Rob from Gambling Gachos.
Oh yeah.
Basically, he suggested they should cancel all the midweek games because of RPI, which a lot of teams around the country do. They scapegoat it. We talked about that during the TCU basketball situation. That baseball's been doing it for
Hot
years.
topic.
But someone brought that up at his press conference, and he was like, "Yeah, no, never thought about that. We're gonna play the games." Just typical Tadlock response. Like he's like, "No, we're gonna baseball. We're gonna play baseball.
We're baseball. Have fun
Gonna
and
play
be fair."
9 innings of baseball. Best team will win.
And then he does
27
like,
outs. Let's go."
And then
I love
he
the man.
wins. Good to see. Yeah, and hoping to put that quickly behind us, as they will play Kansas 3-game series Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's coming up for the baseball team. I was gonna
Get
say
'em.
men's baseball, implied. Anyway, but that's what we got for baseball. And
I think that's all we got.
I'm running through the notes real quick. I don't think there's anything in the chat. But thanks to those who popped in. Great to see y'all, talk to y'all, the usual. Shelby, do you have anything for the good of the cause before we say goodbye?
That's all I got. Well, yeah,
'Kay.
watch the interview tomorrow for tennis. It's really good. Or whenever
yeah.
you're listening to this, check out our YouTube page with their head coach. They got postseason coming up next week, and big series this weekend for softball, and all the visitors for basketball. So we'll catch up with you next week. We might be doing it on a different day, but we'll let you know. We got things, life changes happening for us. So we'll see when we talk to you next. Yeah, we got to fit in where we can, all the schedule. But until then, y'all.
Wreck 'em. Thanks,
We're ready.
y'all.